Welcome to Daza on World of Madness. It has been too long. It really has, and so much has happened. This isn't my house. Where is it? Yeah, well, we're in the village, or what was the village, because it's not hard to see that something terrible happened here. Look at all of this. There's destruction everywhere, particularly around this tower. Well, we'll come to what happened here, although maybe you might be able to guess. And in fact, I have George to thank for it not getting much worse. But this is not a particularly occupied village anymore. If we look around, we may see the occasional creeper still living here. Go away, creeper. But we may also find the villagers and a floating horse. Villagers, are you anywhere around? There's usually one or two, but there's not as many as there used to be. And there's a good reason for that. And there's also this canal. And also, if I bring me up, you can see, look, I look different from what I used to. I've gone blue. My character is now blue. In fact, if you watch Red Letter Media, I seem to have turned into Rem Lazar. That wasn't deliberate. And I've got netherite. Netherite everywhere. So, yes, so much. So this canal, well, obviously this canal has something to do with the empty village. And in fact, this is how I got the villagers out. Yes, I had to get some villagers because I wanted to set up a village. So we'll go on the little journey that I took when I brought the villagers here. And it's quite a straightforward little trek. This is actually the shortest way that I could get from a village to my base. I positioned the base far enough away that it didn't interfere with the other building projects that I had been working on. But I did have to plan out these little tunnels and so on. And then we can come up to the bridge. I didn't use the bridge. I thought about it, but that would have been a nightmare. I probably would have had to use rails. Much easier to just put a villager in a boat. Bring them along that way. Come on. And there we go. So the bridge remained unused for that. Along we go. As we approach, you can start to see on the island there. Ah, look at that. Blocky buildings. And yes, there was an iron golem there. So this is the village. And in fact, it has both grown and shrunk. Because dolphins. I started to have it extend over to the back there. And this is actually where I park this boat. I park boats because I think of them as water cars. These are very, very sparse things. Really, I just wanted to have a place where I could put villagers. Literally that. It's not very well architected or anything. This is real bog standard stuff. I started even with cobble. But as is often the way, with my villages, when I start building them, I just start building them in a completely haphazard way, with things going up and multiple floors. And the main thing I wanted was a mending villager. And I got one. But he is hopeless. I don't know if he's one of these. Curse of Vanishing, no. The mending villager I got, he charges 32 emeralds a shot, which is terrible. I keep going to these same ones again, don't I? It's not, you know. But trust me, the mending villager I've got is useless. So in the end, I'll be using George's mending villager after all this effort. But what I did discover was something very odd, which was when I was in my base, the villagers would tend to congregate up on this mountain. Now, this mountain is now... I say mountain, it's a hill. It's now sealed off because I didn't want them to do it. And they kept going up there and also going out into the sea. And so the sea now has a protective fence to stop them doing that. Initially, as I say, they started to gather up here, and so did the golems. They all started to gather up here. And because this seemed to count as a little way outside the village, the villagers would then create more and more and more golems. So I ended up with tons of the things. And I started to think, this is inadvertently a good farm. And I worked out what was going on. Villagers, they like to explore. They like to go across the land to places that they can see. I don't know if they have a drive to go to higher locations. But the point is, when I was in my base, they would go to this place And this was basically as far as they could go before the AI was turned off because of the distance. And so they'd get this far and then stop. And it meant the whole area became full of villagers and golems. So I did initially put a golem trap here, which was relatively effective, but eventually I got tired of that. And also I was worried about them getting out of this location because they were gradually encroaching on this area where there's this little lake. And they were moving across to where I'd got these other buildings. Now, the tower is still incomplete. That didn't really have anything to worry about, but this has doors in it, and I'll come to this in a minute. And I didn't want that to become part of a village. So what I decided to do was demolish some of the villager housing that was towards this area and move the boundary back. Now, when I did that, I initially put another trap here, which actually wasn't too bad. But then I realised that golems, when they were appearing, would actually materialise around about here. So much better if I could just put a statue of a zombie up here, because this is a zombie statue, and the golems would then just come here. I have just pushed him there just to illustrate what's going on. And not a lot of... this isn't the most efficient thing in the world, by the way, and there won't be an enormous amount waiting here. It was just because I've literally just emptied this, then I went over to the village. So, yeah. But it's enough to keep me in iron, so I'm not too worried about that. That's nice. It's nice, low-yield iron golem farm that I didn't deliberately have to build. It just sort of happened. Now, while we're on the subject of farms for things, let's move on to this, which is something that I did put a bit of effort into actually making it look pretty, with the black stone brick and the quartz and everything, because I got some spawners. And, yeah, I've got, from a bastion, I have, what do I have here? I've got a blaze spawner, which I got off George, and I've got some spider spawners, including cave spider spawner, and yeah, from Bastion I've got the magma cube spawner. So altogether I can use this. Now for magma cubes and spiders I can deal with them automatically, so we can fill the whole thing with water and they will drown. Now the thingies, the blazes, they will drown, but they don't drop anything when they drown, so it's not terribly effective for them. That's why these doors are here. You have to take them on to a degree manually. Now you can do it with a bow, but in all honesty the quickest way of doing it, and I'll just turn this off so you can see what's going on. These two buttons, I turn them on and off together, really. There's not much point. It's just force of habit. This one on the left fills the whole room. This one on the right just fills the bottom layer and forces things towards this side. So this is the thing. And what I can do then is just open the door and... you know, you can also kill the blazes just while the whole room is full of water, especially if you've got a nice respiration helmet like I do. But as long as they've taken a hit from a player, you can get a blaze rod. So that's a little quickie there. This is actually a fairly good farm for these things. It really is. I know I didn't make it look that impressive just now, but it got me from a position of not having any blaze rods to having more than I know what to do with. So that I'm pleased about. Moving on, the tower. The tower I think was here last time, and it still continues to grow. I don't have a clue what I'm going to do with it. You know, that's my approach to building. You know, I will sometimes just put something somewhere without any plan, and that's that. Oh look, there's something sticking out of the base. We have a beacon. Let's get in there. as the sun is going down. We have a beacon. And that gives us some clue, perhaps, as to what happened in that village. Yes, I released a wither there. It wasn't the best idea I've ever had. I thought I'd be able to keep it in the caves underneath. It got out, because the caves do connect round the side and under the... What is that noise? This is the auto chicken. We'll come to that as well. But thanks to my golem farm, which, as I say, is not the most efficient in the world. It's efficient enough that I was able to build a 4-step pyramid. And so, yeah, I've got my beacon, and it just so happened that I had enough space here for this just to squeeze in right next to the chamber up there and into the vaulted ceiling. Hey, you can hear it rumbling. That works really well. I'm quite pleased with how that looks. So let's go down, and we've named all of the dogs now. Tick, 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 tick. Come on. So we've named all the dogs. Oh, look at that. See, this is the thing Monkey's added, so that you can see if somebody is recording. It puts a red dot near their name. I've now died 71 times on this server. I am the record holder. But my dogs, Mantis, are Overflow, Denormal, IEEE 754, and Nan. They are all apparently recording at the same time, so I don't know if they'll be putting up videos. I've updated the map, so you can even see the bridge now going off into the distance, and the village. Moving on. Oh yeah, we've got 10 heads of George. Basically, he wanted to up his own death count. I can't remember why. But he came over here and let me kill him 11 times, in fact. So I've got 11 of his heads, 10 on the portal. And this gate net down here is now referred to as the George Gate. It's got, oh, look, a chicken's escaped. I knew it would. I knew it would. They get through that. They get through that glass. So in this area, I've now moved the cows back. And I did move the chickens back, but then I thought, no, that's still too annoying, because every time I passed by, I'd end up picking up loads of chickens. So I moved the whole chicken assembly around here and made it enclosed and upgraded it a bit. So now I call it automatic chickens. It's not totally automatic. Ever since the problem with the cruise ship, where it partially burnt down because of my automatic cooking machine that went nuts. I've been very wary of building automatic chicken cooking machines in places built of wood. Note the amount of wood here. So the chicken execution still has to happen manually. But man, is it satisfying. Watch this. It's also not a bad XP farm. Now I've got some eggs here from killing those, so we'll just shove them in the manual egg insertion location and they will get pushed down into the machine. I'll set these chickens cooking. I've still got some more chickens to pick up in there. Right, and now it's all loaded up with eggs again. We can just press this. And incidentally, all of those hoppers down there, they're mostly going to be full of eggs. Because obviously that's what chickens do. They lay eggs and they go into the hoppers and they get backed up and you end up with... it just gets full of eggs, and so I'll do that and it will basically entirely repopulate itself. And you can see them starting to appear there. It is magic. Now I mentioned heads earlier. We also have, of course, increased the number of heads in the display. So we've got some more chickens there. Some pillagers, we've got a squid heads, and of course the wither head in Pride of Place. I haven't got a dragon head yet. I've done a lot of dragon fights in the past and I'm still not that particularly bothered about getting a dragon head. The best thing about them is that when you power them they open and close their mouths. But for now, the wither head, that sits there proudly at the top. And a little improvement up here. Well, I say an improvement, it's just an addition. If I go up to... is it this level? No, it's the next one. I've got a little fishing place here. Because I was hoping at some point I could maybe get a mending book just by, fishing for a long period. And that didn't work. It really didn't work. But nonetheless, I have a pool in there now. So maybe a swimming pool. And thanks to the number of raids that have happened or attempted raids. Lots of banners up here now too. Oh, we've got a nice little walkway up there because I was working on improving the efficiency of this thing, and it is a bit better than it used to be. So as for the bulk of this island, I still haven't really decided what I'm going to do with most of it. We're at a position now where we know that the build height is going to be increased. I think we know that anyway, to 4096. And the new cave update is going to be dropping pretty soon. And initially I thought, oh, you know, we'll be getting rid of this world and starting again. But it doesn't seem to be the way that it's going to happen. They're apparently going to add all these new features while keeping the existing worlds intact. I mean, build height, I can see how they do that, but with all the new features, like the new caves and stuff, I mean, surely that's going to be new chunks only, in which case, if I bring up the map, you can see how things are laid out. I mean, that's where the bridge goes. The village that I was at is there. That's Flower Forest. There's Lookout up there. That is the Coral Portal. I don't know whose that is. Should I be showing you all this stuff? I'm going to show you anyway. This is what would normally be Monkey's Island. We've got Mikashi's place there. That's Night Fox. We've got Spawn down here. In terms of others, we've got George down here. That's George's place. I've been down there. That's because in the end once I fell out of the end into the overworld down here, and the closest place was George's place. I think that was on video, wasn't it? You see some of these things are in the just the void. That's because I've been to Lying's base, but I haven't actually been there on the surface. I've only been to his portal in the nether, but it merges the two together. There's Bastion there, and that is Lucian's base. Out there. So right now those are the places that I know of. Remember the inn, the floating nose, that's still there. And there's another village there. That's a little bit further away, as you can see, and there's no easy water route to that village. You'd have to go through this sort of swamp area. That's why I didn't get my villagers from there. When I looked at this one, you can see that it's really a no-brainer that you've got this water route that's pretty much straight, so I just had to increase the canal there. So as you can see, I mean, the area that we occupy is quite large, and also I know that Monkey pre-generated chunks for the area that we were covering. So if we're going to have to go out and look for new chunks, it's going to have to be some distance. And I know there's people who have explored a lot further than even the area that we set aside. So there you are. Those are the major changes that have happened recently on my area of World of Madness. And we'll see what comes next, because I still have no overall plans. Still no plans. That is basically my strategy and always has been. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Oi, what do you think? Thank you.